So, party time? Hey everyone, welcome to Prince of the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 11 of Frieren. And yeah, I'm wondering, now that we have defeated the entire demon threat that was plaguing this town, what's next? Are we just gonna celebrate with the town for having been saved and everything by Frieren and her apprentices? Is that just the what we're gonna do now, or are we gonna move on? What's the deal? Because it seems like this arc at least is finished. Because again, we defeated all of the demon threats, and this town, all we have to do really at this point is make sure everyone's okay. And considering the battles with the main three happened outside of city walls, everyone should be okay. The one we have to check in on is the captain and everything, right? Who we had left behind for the time being. But I feel like I feel like they wouldn't just leave without checking in on him and making sure everything's okay. Plus, maybe if they need to resupply a little bit for their continued journey. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying this a lot. And I just hope that it continues to be very good in terms of the character work, in terms of the developments and progression of our characters, most notably Fern and Stark at this point. Because Frieren herself, it's we don't really need a big progression, except I guess her understanding of humans. That's the only thing we really need to progress with her. Um, because I said it last time, it's Frieren is exceptionally overpowered. She's one of those main characters of a series where it's that's kind of the point. She is meant to be overpowered as hell. But unlike some series that do this, it feels more natural. Because you also have main characters you're following who are not overpowered, who are powerful, but still need to work on things. And on top of it, Frieren's Frieren being overpowered comes from hundreds of years, of over 1,000 years worth of training. It's not like you have a character who's isekai to another world and is suddenly the best fighter in there or something. That's when I don't like it, when they just get ultimate power out of nowhere, pretty much. But when this character has been training for over 1,000 years, and specifically in combative magic to fight demons and stuff, it's yeah, she's gonna be OP as fuck. It's that just makes sense narratively for the series. And because of that, this series isn't really about the fighting. That's why we don't get so much action as we would with other shows. It's more about the character growth, more about the depth of who they are rather than what they can do. And again, I think that's a smart idea. Because if you're going to have an overpowered character, you want to make sure that the character is interesting too. And you want to make sure that the character has a lot of depth to them. Because if you're just overpowered without a lot of depth, I mean, you're basically just Goku. And we don't want Goku. Goku already exists. We don't need that anymore. Also, I'm just one of those weird Goku haters anyway, so. But I think One Punch Man does it well too, because One Punch Man is a satire. That's another way to do it really well when you want to have an overpowered character. When the series is a satire, a gag show, it's oh yeah, you could do basically whatever you want at that point. The character is meant to be overpowered. That's the joke. And with One Punch Man in particular, it's not just that he's overpowered. He is literally the strongest being in existence. If any being would come into existence that would be stronger than him, he automatically would become stronger than them. Just by sake of existing. No one can be stronger than Saitama. That's the joke. That's the point. Saitama will automatically become powerful than any opponent that he faces. He cannot be defeated. I mean, unless it's a mosquito, I guess. Specifically a normal mosquito, not Mosquito Girl. It's like the one thing that Saitama can't defeat. Which in and of itself was the joke. That was a gag. But yeah, One Punch Man, that's just what that series is. And that's what it's supposed to be like. But a lot of these shows that, like, have these characters who are overpowered, a lot of them are playing it seriously. And it just destroys tension and, like, destroys interest and everything. So, like I said, I'm glad when a series instead chooses to, like, make the overpowered main character trope work in a way that feels natural. Or, again, at least makes it into a literal joke. But yeah, I'm very curious to see if they do have Frieren come across any stumbling blocks. Like, maybe not in terms of power, but maybe some kind of mental thing. Maybe she faces an enemy that actually, like, gets to her emotionally or mentally, and that, like, maybe even scares and freaks her out because, like, someone was able to, like, maybe even cause damage to her because of that alone. That could be a cool way to, like, circumvent things. Because, like, just in terms of power, she's practically unbeatable. But if you were to do it, like, via, again, like, mental and emotional issues, that could work extremely well. So we'll have to see if anything like that comes up. But it's going to still be interesting to see where they end up going in regards to these characters. Because Fern and Stark still have plenty of room to grow. And I'm hoping that, like, we see a lot of good moments where they just figure a lot more out. Because, like, I mean, Fern alone, if she can, like, master like her mana control and everything, if she can figure out how to use more magic without having to do illusions and stuff, she could be insanely powerful. And again, she's already technically insanely powerful, but her big thing is the speed. And then with Stark, we see that he actually has fallen prey to these kind of mind games. And usually it seems like demons in this world don't play mind games. They're a lot more direct. But what if they end up facing down someone who's not a demon? That could happen too. Or what if they find a demon who does unusually do that? And that's like a big deal, that this demon is playing mind games when normally it wouldn't. That could be genuinely fascinating if that were the case. But yeah, there's a lot of potential here. And I'm just excited to see where it goes. So let's get into it and find out. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So this episode was a lot like earlier episodes. And it seems like the past few episodes have kind of like not done this kind of like plot separation as the first early episodes did. But I'm kind of almost glad we're getting back to that. It feels almost nostalgic, you know? What I'm talking about is like this episode basically had two separate plots to it. It had the aftermath of the town, you know, aftermath of saving the town and everything, protecting the people there, but also, you know, protecting the suits of armor to, you know, respect the dead and everything. Them being thanked, getting their rewards, and even spending some time in the town, helping rebuild some things, helping just hang out with people, enjoying the food and the culture and stuff like that. And then, of course, we had the second half, which is them in the northern lands and meeting this monk, Kraft, I think it was Kraft the monk. And both of these different sections obviously had different focuses. The first plot, the first focus was basically just about the characters kind of like relishing in their victory in a way. Like they earned this victory, but not just because they defeated some demons. It was because of specifically Frieren's respect for the dead. How she went out of her way to not harm the armor of any of these soldiers who were enslaved and killed by Aura. And the one that even had like the pendant on it especially, which I thought was going to be a lot more important. I guess it was just like, you know, probably something, you know, precious more along the lines of. But we also learned that in the past, like when dealing with demons and everything, Frieren was not this conscientious. She actually, you know, rushed in and just attacked without thinking and got scolded by Himmel for it. And so now it's like she's honoring Himmel's memory by, you know, slowing down, taking things easily, and handling things in a respectful way for the, you know, the people who died and had their souls and everything enslaved, their armor enslaved by Aura. So she was, it shows how much she even grew from back then, but also like how much Himmel and the others had an effect on her, which we already knew, of course, but it's always great to see. And obviously the second plot line was focused on them meeting Kraft and brought up the idea of like religion and Frieren's thoughts on it, but also the idea of just their ideologies on life, both in relation to that religion and outside of it. How they view the world, how they view people in it, how they view just all of these different events happening, their legacies being left, and even receiving praise from others. All these different factors that tie into specifically the fact that, you know, both her and Kraft are elves. Two of the very few of their kind left. And so we get to see a perspective that we've not gotten to see before outside of from Frieren herself. We get to see there is someone else who can carry on this perspective and who's actually older than her and even has a little bit of a different and more extended perspective because of that. And I think that's really cool to see. I think it's really cool to see from the perspective of an older elf who's been around longer than her, and like no one even knows of his deeds and everything. And a lot of his religious beliefs at this point are purely because he wants to believe that when he dies, he'll finally be able to receive praise for his good deeds. Which is selfish to a degree, but there's nothing inherently wrong with that. A lot of people view selfishness as purely bad, which I think is an entirely unfair view on it. Selfishness is an emotion just like happiness or fear or sorrow, and I do not believe that any emotion is inherently good or bad. It depends on how you use it. It depends on how you act on it. Anger, fear, emotions like that you would normally associate as negative can be used in ways to save people. It can be used in ways to, protect lives. Would you call that bad? No, of course not. But a lot of times it is emotions that many see as negative that help people be able to do that kind of stuff. And it doesn't have to be directly saving someone's life from murder or something. It can be taking action against unjust ideals and policies and stuff that help save and protect lives. And on top of that, you have emotions that a lot of people think are just automatically good, but as much as I'm not a fan of the movie, you watch Inside Out to see how joy can be a bad thing. Too much joy can completely cloud your mind and make you unable to see things that are in front of you. It can make you just oblivious and ignorant. There is no such thing as an emotion that is inherently good or bad. It depends on how you use it, how you absorb it into yourself, what you do with it. And so when you have jealousy or an emotion like that, in this case, selfishness, it's all about how you utilize it. Desiring to be praised for your good deeds is not a bad thing. The only reason people see it as a bad thing is because they see it as selfish and they automatically assume selfish is bad. But it's everyone wants to be praised for doing good things. That's just natural. That is a natural human emotion that just everyone feels. And it's not bad. There's nothing wrong with wanting acknowledgement. You shouldn't do good deeds for the specific purpose of getting praise. That's a problem. Because then your good deeds are being done out of ill intent. They're faked, basically. And even that's more nuanced, because even then it's if you're still actually doing the good deed is still getting done, it's still helping people. So is it really that bad if you're doing that, even if your desires is I don't know, to get clout on the internet or something, be a Mr. Beast, basically. You're still doing good. But if your goal is to do it for the sake of getting people to acknowledge you and praise you and stuff, yeah, it's a little twisted maybe. But you're still doing the good deed. So, but that is more of a negative selfishness. But just wanting praise in general and just wanting to be acknowledged is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And we kind of see the views on that in this episode. This guy, this Kraft, is very clearly a good person. We have literally no reason to believe otherwise. mind you, we're taking him at his word, but again, we have no reason to believe otherwise. And at his word, he mentions having done all these good things long, long, long in the past, to the point where no one who was alive then could be alive now. Hundreds upon hundreds of years ago. And yeah, he has no one around to acknowledge all that good stuff he had done anymore. And he misses that. And so he wants eventually his goddess, when he reaches heaven, to acknowledge him and make him just have that one last feeling of, I did that. I did something that helped people, that changed the world. It's a certain feeling of pride, which again is not inherently bad. Some people act like it is, but it's not. It's that feeling of pride in what he's done, and there's nothing wrong with him wanting that. And I just really like this episode not being action packed, because after the last couple episodes where we got a lot more intensity, a lot more action, this episode being very calm and like delving deeper into like the characters' personalities and their ideologies and their depths of character, as well as showing a bit of a flashback to the time with the heroes party and Frieren talking to Hyder and everything. um it was just great. It felt like very relaxing, but also interesting because of what it was saying. And also, like, when Hyder was saying like, one day my kid will be like a great mage, or whatever he said exactly, and it's like, but you priests are celibate. It's like, yeah, but he had a kid who ended up being a great mage because of adoption. Like, he was celibate, yes, but he basically adopted a child, took care of her until he wasn't able to anymore, and then Frieren took charge, and she ended up being a great mage. Like, a fantastic mage. And Frieren can see that. Frieren adores her. Like, I don't think she'd ever fully say it at this point. Maybe in the future. But, like, Frieren basically is her mother at this point. Like, I think they call each other more like friends and everything, but Frieren basically took Fern on, not just as an apprentice, but basically her kid. She basically took over the parent role that Hyder had. And she's raising her not just as a mage, but as a person. And Frieren, again, probably wouldn't say it like super often or in this exact way, but you know she adores her. Like, you can see it when she looks at her. You can see it when she talks about her. You can hear it in her voice. Like, and with the entire praise thing, we've seen her praise Fern, but no one is praising her, and it's like, we're definitely going to see that at some point. We're going to get to that point, but it's very clearly meant to be this entire thing here. There's definitely an ongoing plot point that they're setting up, and I'm very curious to see what they do with it. But it's like, I just I want to see more developments with Fern and Frieren's relationship, and I want to see, like, I would love to see an actual acknowledgement of them having that, like, mother-daughter bond. I would love to see that. Because it's like, it's just so obvious to me that that's like the kind of relationship that's set up here and everything. And I just I really love that, because you don't see that a lot. you see relationships in anime between characters where it's like, oh, you either like are supposed to ship them, or you're supposed to see them as like best friends, uh, yada yada, etc., etc. But you don't see a lot of shows that like focus on a mother-daughter relationship like this. And I'm not talking like a show where like, oh, a character just has a parent and you see the parent from time to time or whatnot, but like actually focusing on it. It's an active part of the story and of their characters. And it's like, yeah, like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood had the ongoing narrative with Ed and his father and their relationship as it changed and grew throughout the series. But that wasn't it's not a constant thing like you see with this. So it's still very different. But I'm really enjoying this. This is one of those shows that it's not like the best show I'm watching by any means. It's not super exciting. It's not one that I'm like the most invested in. But it's like a good relaxation show that I can just like enjoy. And for it being like at the end of the week, I think that's really good too. I think I like chose the best day for this because it allows me to just like close off the week relaxing and enjoying that. Mind you, I usually record the Sunday movie on Fridays, and I almost always record the movie reactions last. So technically, it's not the last thing I leave off on, and the movie might be intense sometimes, but it's the last series reaction of the week. So there's that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, especially your thoughts like regarding the ideology discussion with the second plot line in this episode. But let me know down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.